Hello, and you already know that you have found yourself on the Angus The Guru podcast. I am your host, Angus The Guru. If you are a person that is interested in changing your mindset, shifting your mind state, you want to be happier with where you are, why you are, and how you are, then you have found yourself on the best possible podcast you could possibly find yourself on, because all we do here is be. So thank you so very much for being here with me. And today is a very special episode. It is episode 3 of season 2, and we're never going to have another episode 3 of season 2. So I'm very glad that you're here with me today, and we have someone else being here with us today. A real homie, a real talented person that I haven't known for very long, but I feel like I'm going to know him for a very long time from this point forwards. So this is Bryson. Introduce yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so my name is Bryson. I go by Man of Skill. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Man of Skill, the champ, or 905 the champ. And all I do is like to send out as much positivity as I can and just make music while I do it.
Yep, that's what it's about. That is what it's all about. That makes a difference in this world, so we appreciate that. I have a question. Where did the name Man of Skill come from? How did you come to that name?
I actually kind of started with a few different names until I kind of came to it. But my biggest inspiration was one of my friends told me that like another friend of theirs was into like hip hop, and he had come up with a really cool name for himself because his name was Luke, and he liked Luke Skywalker, so he called himself Luke Flywalker. And I was like,
okay, that's kind of dope.
That's pretty dope. I was like, that's actually pretty dope. I like that aspect. So I was like, if I were to do something like that, what would that look like? And I was like, well, I really love Superman. Like I love Superman. He's my go-to. He's only got one thing that can stop him, is kryptonite.
Right. Yeah.
And I find like I have different little forms of kryptonite in my life sometimes. So I was like, well, I feel like I'm like Superman sometimes. I'm unstoppable. I'm like, I got all these powers and all these skills. And I was like, wait a minute. Like Man of Skill, like Man of Steel, but with skills. So Man of Skill. And that's how I kind of like formulated that and came up with it. And I've just stuck to it. And I'm a man of many skills. So I just like to, call myself Man of Skill.
That's sick. That's actually so good. That's a great story. I can't believe I didn't know that before. I think you should tell that at a show, to be honest, because I think that's a really great like theme and like idea.
Yeah.
Like that you have your certain kryptonites and everything. I like the whole story there. So with that being said, what are some of your kryptonites?
Well, like the whole start, like a big thing, and like you'll notice in almost a lot of my music, is I'm a very romantic person. So I've gone through a lot of like heartbreaks or like breakups or things that I thought were going to go well but didn't. And I feel like, I don't know if I could say females or just like relationships, I would say in general, a lot of relationships or toxic relationships are my kryptonite, because I find myself usually trapped in one when I don't want to.
You find yourself trapped in one. I mean, we're never really trapped, bro. You're never really trapped. For real, though.
Actually, that is very true. It's I guess I can't say I'm trapped in one. I just have to learn a lesson from it. And until I do, I just keep reliving that same shit over and over
again. Same pattern, but it's okay. Because this is how we learn, right? We got to go through it. So it's all good. No worries there. You already know this, bro. So you just got to trust the process at this point. And then you're good. You're golden already.
No, and it's learning what that process is and how that process looks in your life. That is like the biggest thing I find. Because no matter how many times people like told me, oh, it's all a process, or you just got to learn from it, or you're going to learn something from this, it didn't really hit me until I realized what that truly looked like to me in my life.
Right? Yeah. So you have to like go through the experience to really understand. Like you can get all like the advice and stuff, but there's something about an experience itself that will teach you something like you cannot learn in any other way, right?
Oh, 100%.
So yeah, I'm glad that you are on the right path. That's all that matters.
It feels good to finally feel like I am. Like that took a long while in itself, right? From going
Mm.
through just a lot of things that I've been through to like,
What do you think it is that makes you feel like you're not enough at times?
hmm, that is um, I think it's just mainly a lot of the situations that I find myself in that make me feel that way. And it is me it's like myself that I'm putting myself in that situation. And the I think the hardest thing for me, or the thing that took me the longest to realize, was um what do I need to learn from this situation? Or not really that. It's everything happens for a reason, right? So
Right.
what is the reason why this situation is happening?
Do you find
And
so you're always looking for that reason, eh? You want to see the reason
yes,
why everything's happening.
yes,
I,
and
I,
then trying to
okay, sorry.
understand what it is, right? It's
Yeah,
just trying to understand what that reason is.
yeah. I feel like sometimes, now I'm not saying that you're obsessing over this, but sometimes when we obsess over finding what the reasons are, we become accustomed to just seeing more problems because we're looking for the reasons to the problems. Therefore, we're assuming that there are problems. So like that is a way that might actually perpetuate that cycle of feeling like you're not enough, or that you have to get somewhere else, or that you have to keep learning. Like you can just trust that you are learning. You don't need to like always be like so aware of that fact. Like I have to look for what I'm learning. Like just understand that you are learning no matter what. And it might like relieve some pressure off of you in that sense.
Yeah, and then another thing that I think deep down I feel is why I feel never enough is because I don't feel like my perfect self. I feel like I'm not in my, like, if this was the perfect version of me, then
Mm-hmm.
this and this wouldn't be happening in my life. But because of that, I'm not that perfect version yet. So that's why I don't feel like I'm good enough, because I know there's that perfect version of me out there and I want to be that person, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not yet. And I don't know if I can say really I'm not yet, because deep down I am. It's just getting, I don't know,
It's in, like
feeling that
embodying
I'm not,
that.
yeah, embodying that and understanding it
Yeah.
and like
Well,
accepting it, I guess.
yeah. Like, well, you are your best self. Like you just said it. You just said it. First you were saying that you want to be your best self, and then you said that deep down you really are, and that's the truth. So keep that in your
Right.
mind, that deep down you really are. Right? You like, you know this. And if you know what the best version of yourself is doing, then just do those things now. Like you don't need to wait for things to change. You don't need to wait for things to happen. What's that person doing? And then do it. If that person isn't doing certain habits, then don't do those certain habits. Like when you make your decision right now, you make that committed choice right now to live in your best self, to live in your highest potential. You'll do the things that you have to do. You'll sacrifice what you need to sacrifice. So just keep that in mind, what your best self is. You already know you are your best self. So just move from that point forward.
Wow.
Sorry, bro. I'm just
No,
speaking,
no,
but
that's like, no, no. It's like that is deep, but it's very, very true. It is 100% true. It is like, yeah, because deep down you are your best self. It's just letting that out, I guess,
yeah,
or yeah, embodying it, right, and just
yeah,
being that, and not allow the things to tear you down the way that they do,
yeah.
right?
But you already know these things, so you are at an excellent position. Like you're golden already, man. You're already golden. So that's a fact. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah.
Very happy.
No, I'm very happy for myself but it's taken me a long. It wasn't like night and day that these things
Yeah,
have happened or that I've come to these terms. I've learned a lot of lessons along my life and
yeah,
throughout my whole life that have gotten me to this point to where I can say these things or understand these things and
yeah,
finally come to grips with them
yeah.
and
This
apply them to my life.
is, yeah, it's a beautiful process, and everybody has their own unique process. So like you don't need to set any kind of timeline on like your level of learning, or like your awareness expanding, right? Like you just go through your shit and you learn as you learn. No need to put any pressure like, oh, I have to learn by a certain age and all that. Like that's just society like norm nonsense, right? Like
Yeah, no,
the
that is
idea that like,
actually a solid
yeah,
point.
yeah, like the
Sorry.
idea that, no, it's okay, sorry. That we have to get like married by a certain age, or have a car by a certain age, or graduate school by a certain age. Like what is that? Like, who made this shit up? You know what I mean? Like, that's just unnecessary pressure that we put on ourselves, because we are all on a unique path. Like, some people are meant to go to school when they're 50 years old. Like, they're gonna take in information in a different way. Like, there's no standard to this life. Like, there's no blueprint. You know what I mean?
I love that you highlighted that, because that's what I was about to highlight. That's exactly what I was about to highlight. I hate this social norm of, oh, if you didn't make it famous by 30 or by this age, then you're never going to make it famous. No, Judge Judy didn't make it big till she was goddamn 50. Like,
Right.
look at that. And
Yeah.
like, you're like, yo, but she was big. She made it huge. You know how many
Yeah.
episodes of like, you know how many episodes of Judge Judy's court there are? I don't even know, but I know there's got to be over hundreds, because you saw multiple ones every day. Even
Yeah.
as a kid, even if it was a rerun, there were still multiple episodes. That show didn't stop. So if she can make it at 50, who's to say you can't make it at whatever age you're meant to? If you want to make it, or you're meant to be famous, or you feel that way deep down, and that is your dream or your passion in life, it'll happen when the universe wants it to happen for you.
Yeah.
And you need, and the reason why it hasn't happened yet is because there are a lot of lessons you need to learn along that way to be able to be in that situation, or
Yes.
put in that situation, so that when you're in that situation, you have you've collected all the tools and knowledge along the way to understand how to handle that situation and be
Yeah.
the best you in that situation. Because the only thing stopping you from that is you. So like, you need to learn those things to have that, so that you can implement it when you're in that. And that's
Yeah.
like something that I'm so proud of deep down, that I felt and just feel and just know deep down is true to me. And I'm not going to let anything break me from that.
That's
And
awesome.
like, oh, it just feels
Damn.
so empowering. It just
I
makes
love
me feel so good. Like,
I see
and it,
that.
and it's hard to like actually take in sometimes, because like at the same time, when I say it out loud, like there's this ego thought of, oh man, you sound like you have a god complex, or you sound like you're being very like cocky. And I'm like, but that's not how I am. So shut the fuck
Right.
up, ego, because I don't care what you think or what you're
Yeah.
thinking, because deep down I know it's true to feel that way. I
It's
know
true.
it's
Yeah.
good to feel that way. It's not a bad thing to know that you need to learn lessons, or you need to do these things to be able to get where you want to be in life.
Yep.
Like, and
Eh,
it's not like a bad thing to be like, I feel good that I finally know that, or I can finally accept that inside myself.
Definitely. I agree with like everything you just said. So, do you feel that you are meant to be famous? Is that something that's in your future? Do you feel that internally?
Yes, I do feel like I'm meant to be able to reach out to people or spread a message on a mass level.
Right. It's about
And
the providing of like a service to the people, right?
and
Like
that's
what?
what it is to me. It's like, it's not like I want to be famous and make $1 million so I can go and buy a new Bugatti or a new this every month. That's not why I want to be famous. And
Mm-hmm.
like, one of my theories in life was like, say I were to make, if I know I'm making $3 million every year, I want to be able to take 1 million of that and go supply it to 10 people in a way that can massively change their lives and impact it in a way that they're good for the rest of their life. They don't have to struggle or stress about having to work or having to, make ends meet. All the ends have been met for the rest of their lives. It's the foundations have been put there, have been built, and now they can just focus on trying to enjoy their life and living life. And that's kind of like a deep down passion in my life,
Mm.
right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is like, it's my dreams are to be able to do that.
I get that. I love that because I mean, I feel kind of the same way. Like, I think we're all here to like provide the most amount of value that we can to those around us, to like bring us all to that like just comfortable level of like living. And so I try to do that when it comes to like mindset and like thinking, because like at the source, like that's like the number one thing that we have, right? Like, it's our thoughts, it's our consciousness. So it's like, if you want to achieve anything, like your mindset has to be like solid first and foremost. You need to like be in alignment with yourself and love yourself. So that's why I do what I do, and why I personally, I want to speak all over the world. Like when I think about like the thing that I want, like in my end goal, I see myself like touring the world. I see myself behind stage, walking up these stairs and just seeing a huge crowd of people, and I'm just like expressing myself to them. Like the idea that people would like travel just to hear me speak because they resonate with what I say, like that's something that like brings me the highest sense of like joy, and that's how I know that that's my purpose. So
Yeah, definitely. Nothing's stopping
yeah,
you from that. That's why you call yourself the guru, is because deep down you feel like you are one. And
yeah,
I honestly I can see that just the first moment I met you in person, even just from watching just your stories
mm,
and the motivationalness that you have in it, or the positivity that you send out in it. It's like you have this aura around you to be a guru, to
mm.
spread a positive message on a massive level and change a massive amount of people's lives. And that's what a guru does.
Bro, I
They
feel
just
that so
guide
hard.
people, right? They're just there to guide others on their life journey and help them understand what it is that is happening in their life, why that is happening, and help them guide them through it. Like,
I,
and you preach that just by being you. It's not even like you have to you're just in it of yourself. You're doing that. It's like it just comes off. It like radiates off you. And I just felt that in the first moment I met you. And I was like, dude, I just like being around you. I have nothing. I don't have a conversation to have right now with you. I can't think of something to talk about, but I just want to stand around you. I hope that's okay,
ah,
because I like the energy that is coming off you, and it's making me feel more confident in just myself. And I'm not trying to steal your energy. I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to, like, steal something from you.
you're
But
a
like,
vampire,
dude,
bro.
just, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a succubus or something right now. But I feel good in your presence. And that's what a guru honestly inhibits. And like, that's why people usually surround gurus or want to be around gurus and want to be in their presence, is because the energy that they put off. And then I felt that in just the first moment I met you. I was like, yo, I like being standing in this guy's presence.
Oh
Like,
my gosh,
oh my God, it brings me confidence.
bro.
I have to talk to this guy. I just, something about him. I need to learn something from. He needs to tell me something. I don't know what the message the universe is trying to send through him to me, but I want to hear it.
Mm.
And it's not like something like, oh, the universe is trying to tell you, is telling me to tell you this. No, okay, and I don't want to listen to it. No, it's like, no, I feel like I need to hear something from you. It's like,
Oh man.
it's weird, you know. I can't really explain it, but that was what I got from just the first moment I met you, and I was like, yeah, I need this guy in my life. Like, like he's meant to be in my life for some reason, and
Man,
I want to learn what that reason is.
I really love that, man, and I really love that. I love you for saying that. Thank you very much. That's
No, man.
possibly the
I
nicest thing
just
anyone's
love
ever
you
said
for
to me.
being you. I just love you for being you, man, and just keep doing it. Honestly, do not change any aspect of you in any way. Like, everything you're doing is so pure that no one can ever break you from that. And do
Thank you.
not allow anyone to, because you're on the most divine like path of your life, and it brings everyone around you happiness.
That's
So like, that's all I want to do too, like, in my way that I'm meant to do it, right? And
yeah,
everyone's meant to do it in their own way, and
yeah.
finding out what that is hard, but once you do, it feels so good deep down. It feels so good, even when you can see it in others, and that
Mm-hmm.
they're doing what they're meant to do, you know.
Yeah. With that
It
being
feels good.
with that being said, I have a quote that I want to ask you about. See what your opinion is on this quote. I forget who said it, but oh, it was Brad Bizjack. He's like a mindset coach. Some people can't be their best selves unless you are your best self. Like unless you express your best self, other people can't be theirs. How do you feel about that?
Ooh, that's kind of a hard one. That's so, unless I express who I'm truly supposed to be, like my true self, others won't. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can feel that. Like, if I'm gonna cast a fake version of myself, which would be a shadow, upon others,
Mm-hmm.
what's to say that they're supposed to not cast that back? It's kind of
Exactly.
like do unto others the way you want to be treated, right? The biggest golden rule ever. If you
Oh yeah.
want to be respected, you must give respect. You can't
Yep.
just expect respect out of everyone and not give it back.
Exactly. And the world is a mirror, bro. So it only makes sense, right? Like it's something that I realized like with certain people that I've had in my life that weren't the best for me. It's because I wasn't operating as my best self. Like I didn't feel like I wasn't able to own myself as much as I am today. So I attracted into my life people who were fake because I was technically being fake. And then when you go on your journey and you get to a point where like you realize who you are more, you're like, man, who are these people around me? It's like, how did they get here? And it's because you weren't being yourself. Like that's how they got there. More people that aren't being themselves. So it's like,
Yeah,
bruh,
because you surround yourself with like-minded people.
yeah,
Even if
exactly.
you that's and saying that, and then when you also put in so there's two things there though, and it's hard that I think I kind of came to just now to a somewhat of a different realization in it. There's two things there. There's yes, you surround yourself with like-minded people, but also if you're finding that the people you're surrounding yourself are negative or toxic in your life,
Mm-hmm.
that's because you're in a negative mindset. So you're
Right.
allowing those negative people to be in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way to get those negative people out of your life is to stop having a negative mindset on yourself,
Of
or
course.
stop judging yourself in a yeah, just stop judging yourself. Honestly,
Stop judging yourself.
that doesn't
2022,
matter
the motto of the
how.
year.
Yeah,
Stop judging yourself.
that's on my motto of this, but the biggest thing I've been pulled into in 2022, and that is my 222 moment, is to
Mm,
stop judging yourself in every aspect. It doesn't
yeah.
matter how that looks. Okay, I'm only judging myself in this way, or I'm only judging this. No, stop judging it. Stop the
Mm-hmm.
judgment. The
Yep.
judgment is the issue, not
That's the
how
problem.
you're. It's not how you're judging yourself. It's not
Right.
like that is one thing that I've like just it was a big realization in me is like, no, no, honey. Yes, you're judging yourself, but it's not
Right.
how you're judging yourself. It's the fact that you're projecting judgment onto yourself, which is
Yeah.
wrong.
Yep. That'll throw you into a really vicious cycle for sure in your head. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
like
something like I struggle with that though, to be honest. Like I judge
oh, I
myself
do.
a
And
lot
I'm
too.
not, even though I say I'm preaching that, doesn't mean that I'm not dealing with that or I'm not
Of
suffering
course.
from that.
Right.
Yeah,
That
I want to admit that I admit that. I'll say that right now. Like I admit that. Like I am deep down struggling with that, and I am suffering from judging myself based on every aspect of my life. If it's not
mhm.
my music, or if it's not something that I'm creating or I'm doing, I'm judging it. But it's finding that it's okay to do it, but don't allow it to affect me. Don't
Right.
allow it to harm me.
Yeah.
Right? Don't
They,
allow it to be a negative thing in my life. If I want to judge something, or if I want to be a perfectionist on my music, it's because it's not a bad thing to me. It's because I want to just make it better. So why am I making that a harmful thing to me? Why am I hating on myself for it? Oh, it wasn't this. Darn it.
mhm.
No. Oh, you know what? I could have done that better. So next time I'm going to do that better.
Right.
Not, oh shit, I just didn't. Dang it. No, I'm just going to do better next time.
Right.
Like
Would you consider yourself a perfectionist?
I do a lot, especially with my music, and it's very a hard thing for me because I want to make the best thing I can for someone so that it reaches the most amount of people, or it affects the most it can in the best way. And that's what kind of makes me a perfectionist. It's like,
Mm.
oh, but if I just maybe said these kind of words, that line or that punchline would hit that type of person better, or it would
Mm,
hit that type of person better, instead of just taking in the small bits that hey, it's still affecting people. You're
right.
still, your message is still getting out there.
Yeah. Yeah. What if you just assumed that everything you put out was the best?
Yeah,
Y-
I have to. That is a hard thing for me to do, but
Okay.
I'm coming to terms with that. I am coming to grips when I, and what helps me come to grips with that is when I get feedback on my music, like from like my buddy, like from Wes, my buddy Wes and stuff, and he's like, dude, I love your verse on that song more than my own. And
Mm,
deep down in myself, I was like, oh, I didn't write a good enough verse. Wes's verse is way better than mine in that.
right.
And then I get the feedback from him, and he's like, yo, your verse is so much better than mine.
Mm,
I still like, I quote your verse still to this day. I love what you did on that song. And I'm like,
awesome.
okay, but I didn't feel that way. But
Mm,
now you helped me understand that I should have felt that way. So why didn't I feel that way? Oh, it's because deep down I'm still fighting that battle.
yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's okay. We're gonna fight these battles for a long
but
time.
the thing I love about that is being able to understand that, or you know, learn that lesson, or step aside for a minute and not just live in that moment. Step aside from the moment and be like, "Oh, okay, I understand what's going on now."
Yeah.
It's being able to do that I'm so appreciative that I can do, because it took me a long time to be able to do that.
It just goes to show, like, everybody else that hears your music, like, you're not going to hear it the way they hear it. Like, you'll never be able to hear your music the same way another person does, like, because you're not in their mind, you're not their consciousness or their experiences. So it's going to hit every person differently. Especially it's going to hit them differently than you, because it's coming from you. So there's no comparison to make. So that can, help you with thinking that you have to be better, like you're just being you as being the
And
best.
dude, everything you just said is like the definition of what happened to me last night
Oh,
with my
that's
show.
awesome. I love
Like
that.
everything you just said is in pure the definition of what just happened to me last night, because and I just literally had that epiphany, because it was like, oh, I've performed this many shows, and every time it wasn't always the same people at every single show,
Right.
but every show I did, I got a different
Like, reaction, response.
yeah, a different response from my music or
Right.
from my songs. And last night, the insane response I got from a song like Squeaking, that I wasn't even
Bro.
expecting that big of a. Okay, I made that song and I thought like dudes would kind of laugh at it or kind of make jokes. It'd be like a club banger. I didn't expect the response from even the females that were just going nuts over it. They're like, "Oh, you making that girl leak it? Oh, fuck yeah! All
Right.
right!" Like they're like, "Hell yeah!" And I'm
Yeah, bro.
like, "Oh,
Yep.
you understand the joke? You understand the vibe? You get
Yup.
what I'm just like what I'm playing with? I'm trying to make the most dirtiest, cleanest song ever. Like
Yup.
if they can say squeaking or if they can say oh dang, I totally lost the word on it. If they can say skeeting, if they can say skeet on the radio, what
Right.
makes me it drove me to want to make a song that was like almost like an assumption song, or like the dirtiest song you can kind of think of, that's not
Right.
dirty unless you really deep down think about it.
Like the
But the
dirtiest clean shot
lyrics,
sing
yeah,
song.
the lyrics are all clean. Like it's radio
Mhm.
friendly all day.
Yeah, the
Like
response was
you
crazy,
know?
honestly. It was actually so lit last night, bro. That song is actually a banger. Like, it really is. That was
And
awesome.
that was, I just had so much fun just making that song, that the response I get from it blows my mind and just makes me feel so pure about what I'm doing. Like, yes, I'm
Right.
on the right path. Like, yes,
Yeah.
this is it. Like, this is meant. I'm meant to be doing this right now,
Yep.
and no one can tell me I'm not.
All right, that's going to be it for part 1 of my interview with Man of Skill. Catch part 2 next Monday at 6 a.m. You already know. Thank you for being here with me today. Don't let anybody love you more than you love yourself. And don't forget that you can live anew.